Good evening and welcome to Damn It Boy Media.
But we also pay our drivers. So let's just use a Bowman Gray for an example. The man that finishes in the back, he don't get his armband money back. You know, these people, most of them get $600 to $1,000 to start. Our World of Outlaws events can be $3,500 to start the race. Just to take the checkered flag, you're gonna get $3,500.
Where does your 43 cars come from?
They come from like Gaffney, they come from here, they come from Lithville, they come from Tennessee. We're pulling people from a long distance. We had some people there a couple weeks ago from, let's see, Wheatland, Missouri. We had some people there from Montana. So we're getting cars from everywhere.
But now, like your operation in Newport, Tennessee, he runs somewhere every night, right? Or
so he mostly runs, like, so for example, he left out today, headed to Delaware. He'll run the Lucas Oil race this weekend. He'll run Friday night, Saturday night, and come home. And then like next weekend, there may be a flow race, a Class 2 flow race on a Wednesday or a Tuesday. He'll go run that and then drive on to the next race and race Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So they race a lot of times, they do 2 or 3 nights before they're done. So they'll race maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
When you said streaming, the races streaming, is Flow Racing doing your streaming? So
Flow does Lucas Oil, and then Dirt Vision does World of Outlaws. So we got Barry at XR. Barry streamed some of ours. Pit Road TV just streamed the Ultimate Super Late Model Series was there this past weekend. They streamed it, and then for the World of Outlaws Dirt Vision, which is World of Outlaws' program, they'll stream that. So Flow hadn't come to our place. We're trying to work on some sprint car stuff, so I'm pretty sure at some point they're going to be there.
Right.
Just don't know when.
So with the race that's coming up this May the 3rd, the Hunt Front, who will stream that? So
they have their own streaming crew.
Oh,
the Joyner brothers, one of them race and one of them does the racing program. So they have their own YouTube and their own marketing that they do through the streaming side.
So will the race be live streaming? Or
it will on Hunt the Front TV.
Hunt the Front TV. Yeah. I've watched a lot of them.
Yeah.
But so with what is coming after the World of Outlaws, I mean, I'm sure all this is planned a year or so ahead of time, correct?
We planned our events. We released our schedule in October of last year, and already working on next year's. So after this event, we have actually a pretty cool little deal we're going to do every year. So Matt Langston had a daughter. She was 16, got killed in a car wreck right after she turned 16. And there's a lot of people that does memorials for racers and this person and that person. So I decided that I wanted to do something different. Like I say, I'm all about family and I'm all about the community. So what we're going to do is on June 16th, I think the date is, it is Father's Day Sunday night. We have got a butt ton of sponsors. Steve Arkin at Longhorns put in $10,000. We've got Nutriag that's put in $20,000. We got Dirt Vision that's put in another $20,000. We have raised a lot of sponsorships for this event that was donated, like they approached us to donate it. We are going to have a national race there, sanctioned by Dirt Car, that is 100% fundraiser. So we're going to take the money and do a Sidney Langston Memorial Scholarship, and we're going to take that scholarship and divide it between one in our community of a female and one in the community where she went to school. We're pretty sure that we're probably going to get $50,000 in scholarship worth. So we'll pay for somebody to go be an attorney, or they'll pay for somebody to go, whatever. We're going to give them a portion every year. When they re-enroll for their next semester, we're going to pay the school for that semester. So it is 100% fundraiser.
So who will be there? What cars will be there?
You name it. You'll have your Jonathan Davenport, your Brandon Overton, your Ricky Thornton, your Bobby Pierce, your Jimmy Owens. It'll have them all.
So they'll be there.
It'll be there. These next 3 races are going to be some kick butt races. So this is complete race ready, and that right there is a spare car. Yeah, they're leaving to go to, 2 of them are in there, and this one right here, they're going to get the engine tomorrow in Kentucky. And that's a backup car. So, and then that's one we're rebuilding. That's kind of the first car over there. So
These cars have gotten big since the last time.
they have. They have.
Now this is Jordan's car.
This is Evan. So Evan is going to be gray and black, and Jordan will be orange and black. That's how you tell the difference of the two kids.
Now which car? He's got a car loaded.
He's got two in that trailer.
Got two in this trailer.
Yeah, they're up top.
So you got a total of 4 cars for him?
He has got 4 cars, them 2 and the 2 up there, and then this modified, which is right over here. He runs that some.
Is that the same type modified that Kenny Wallace does?
It is.
Do you ever go to, I mean, he races just around Missouri.
He was in Volusia with us.
Oh, really?
He was down there racing right the same place.
That's right. He was having his podcast from there a couple times. So, yeah. Did y'all race against him? Or?
He was in some of Jordan's heat races.
Was he?
Yeah, he was driving Nick Kaufman stuff. So we've got, like I said, we've got 2 up there where they're leaving out tomorrow morning early to go racing.
So what's the difference in that modified, and this is a limited,
That's the Super Late model.
super late model.
Yeah, so the modifieds have a stock front clip on them, like a Chevelle or a Camaro, and they're about 650 to 700 horsepower. So they're more rigid, to where these right here are more tubular and 900 plus horsepower.
900 horsepower.
Yeah.
You ever driven anything 900 horsepower?
I did. I couldn't afford a motor. So, my 16-year-old is right there. He's learning. Like I say, he's green. So he's got a Vic Healy, and it's right around 910. What the horsepower is on that.
Now, where is he race?
He travels locally. Like he'll run at our track some, or he'll run at Gaffney, or he'll run at Whitfield. So he goes different places. So this is his hauler. My trailer's outside.
Whitfield's been open for years and years and
It
years.
has.
I was 9 years old going to Whitfield. And I'm 60, I'll be 63 in July. And I was 9 years old going to Whitfield Speedway. And it was a long ways. We lived in Medellin, and we took a 36 Chevrolet modified to go run the modifieds.
I love it. I've loved racing since I was a kid. My dad didn't race. Nobody in my family raced ever.
My uncle raced, and that's who we go. And we would all go, load up and go to watch. And it was like eating pinto beans and potatoes. Had mashed potatoes one night, potato cakes the next night. But come Saturday night, we were going to Whitfield to race.
I always tell everybody, a racer is going to figure out how to get to the racetrack. It don't matter if his power bill ain't paid or his grocery bill ain't paid. He's going to figure out how to get to the
I
racetrack.
hope that you make enough money racing that you're not going to. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are some awesome race cars.
Yeah. So they, like I say, they're both the same cars. They're both the same chassis, and both the same style engines.
What engine are you running? Is it a Ford, Chevrolet? Chevrolets. Yeah. Is there many Fords?
There is. They're D3s. Like Chris Madden runs a D3. A lot of your Rocket House car, he runs a D3. There's several of them that does. Sean the Viper Motorsports running the BMF car, he runs D3s. So there's a lot of people that does run Ford. It's just Chevrolet kind of dominates the program.
Well, I know that it's a lot cheaper. That Fords are expensive to race.
These are expensive.
Everything's expensive.
Yeah, you're going to spend the same to build these style motors.
You do a Ford or
A Ford or Chevy, both going to cost you around $55,000 a motor.
Yeah, it's they're awesome race cars. Couple of things. What are you going to do now that you're not in the towing business anymore?
I still help with the day-to-days. That's the biggest reason I pulled myself out of it is for some reason as I got older, I can't handle the stress as good. I started having some cholesterol problems, started having some blood pressure problems, and my doctor said, "Bud, you got 2 choices. It's literally get rid of your stress in life, or you need to get your estate set up because you're not going to be here much
And
longer."
you go buy a racetrack.
I already had it. I already had the racetrack prior to the merger with the towing side. So my cholesterol is like in 410 numbers, if you know much about it. 150 is a male max, and I'm in the 410s. I can't get rid of it.
I have to take cholesterol medicine every morning.
I was on 3 a day, and blood pressure pills, and I just couldn't get it to quit. So we merged the company, backed me out of the employee side, and I literally work with the operations and the rec side of it. You know, I do a lot of the big recs, and my cholesterol went to 90 with no medicine.
Oh, really? Well, that's great.
So,
employees can do that to you.
And you know, it ain't. I don't think they intentionally mean to. You know, and I got some phenomenal ones that's been with us. Like, we have got some great people that's been with the towing side, the trash side, and my rental store. Like, you know, I've had some great people help me get to where I am along the way. I think that you're talking about racetracks, and you remember these, but it's because your parents took you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, most people don't. I had a guy walk up to me at Volusia Speedway 2 years ago. His first race ever run. He was 13, or he's 14, and he ain't run but about 18 races, 20 races. We're practicing a whole lot with him, and he's starting to race more and more. But this guy walked up to me with his son. He's like, "Man, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "This is one of our first times out here." He said, "This your two boys?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "Why do you do this?" He said, "You know, it's a lot of waste of money." And my exact words is, and I looked at him and I said, "What would you pay to get him out of rehab?" He said, "We ain't going to rehab." I said, "How do you know he ain't going to rehab? When he's 16 and ain't around you, where's he at? Yeah. What's he doing? Who's he with?" I said, "My kids still go out and eat with me on Sundays. They still go to me to race on the weekends if we're not racing. If we go riding side by side, my oldest boy's wanting to go with us. Like, you know, this weekend he's leaving to go racing with his crew and crew chief, and me and my youngest boy and wife are going to look at another piece of property, so we can't go. But it's almost like a gap feeling that we're not getting to go with him."
Oh, yeah.
Because we're so tight as a family. So the biggest problem is people sit at home now. You know, they play their Xbox, they play their Nintendo, they play their PlayStation, and don't get out. You know, and parents are not spending time with kids and doing things with kids. You know, whether it's teaching them the work ethics, whether it's teaching them what spending time as a family together is. They think go to your room and play an Xbox is spending time with your family, and it's not. So I think one of the biggest problems you got now in this day and time is people don't bring them out. That's why you're not getting the fans in the stands. You know, that's one thing I was hoping with the community is I've got a picture on my phone of a dad and son. They've started coming, and I've been watching them. I've been paying attention to them. They're parked about in a certain section most races. They're sitting on the back of their truck. They've not been there because I've been going to this racetrack for years. I got to talking to him. He's in the NASCAR world. He's like, "Man, I need somewhere to spend time with my son." They're sitting on the back of the truck with their ski goggles on, and they're hunkered down with their coolers, and they're there to watch the race. And
let me say, the ski goggles is because of what? The dust and the dirt.
Yep. You wear goggles, you ain't got no problem.
That's it.
But
That's it.
Our safety glasses.
Yeah.
But to me, I would about give that man his passes to get in every week and spend the time with his kid. I know that's crazy, but to me, it's more about spending time and interacting with your family. And as time changes, I think the community is going to go back to the old days where all you got is your family. Yep. You know, because everybody's distanced themselves from everybody, and you're just not going to have that. So I'm trying to build this thing to incorporate the community in it and get them to spend time, to come with their loved ones. I know it is expensive, but at the same time, we're paying for the big names to get the big purses, for them to get the big drivers.
The family thing is you've got. This is a quick example. My daughter, they lived with us their first year of marriage. We had a grandbaby. She lived with us for her first year. They put a mobile home down in the woods about 200 feet from our house. And when they moved out of that, I said, "Y'all are leaving." And I said, "Y'all taking my baby with y'all?" And my daughter says, "My God, Daddy, we're only going 100 foot into the woods." But it's still that she left us. But even today, you know, every night, when I called you and talked to you about this, I had to think and figure out, how does she play softball tonight? The oldest granddaughter, does she play softball? Because we're there supporting her.
And you got to be.
Oh yeah.
We give, like Jordan, he's a pretty good point guard. He made every team you've ever tried out for, and he's played with a couple of kids that's probably going to go pro that's come through here. And I give the youngest one a choice to race or play sports the same as I did him. He chose sports, the youngest one chose racing. So we started racing with him a lot earlier. That's the reason Jordan.
Yeah, this is a lot more expensive than a travel team.
Hey, you say that. But you know, a lot of people say that, but I was buying basketball shoes every 90 days because he's busting the side out of them.
Yeah.
You know, he's staying in hotels every weekend because he's playing travel ball somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, you're buying jerseys or uniforms or paying for this or paying for that. It is a lot more expensive, but at the same time, it's just a different zero.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I tell everybody, if you don't look at the clock and you start when you need to get there, and early bird normally gets the worm, and you work till you're done, not, hey, it's at 5 o'clock, I'm getting out of here, it's at lunchtime, I need to go take a lunch. If you'll do that, you can add them zeros.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you can't add them zeros.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, if you're willing to work, you ought to enjoy the fruits of the labor.
So now, after talking to you for the last little bit, I've come to the conclusion what makes you successful and have made you a self-made man and a successful person is family and hard work.
100%.
The same thing that's made America, the same thing it's the ingredient that makes a success. Hard work and family values.
100%. And I encourage both of my kids. Jordan is a 4.5 GPA kid in college, like extremely smart, like intelligently smart. And he could have went and been a lawyer easily. He could have went and been a banker, whatever. He is smart. My youngest boy, he's a hands-on kid. But I encourage both of them to get a blue-collar degree. And he's like, Dad, why? Why do you want to do that? I said, because I promise you, kids your age ain't gonna get dirty. They're scared to get dirty. They're scared to work. You will get paid more than a lot of the attorneys you know in your life by not being scared to get dirty.
Yeah.
And fortunately, you know, with like Jordan with his company, it don't matter if it's a garbage truck or a porta-john truck. If it's got to be worked on, he'll work on it. If it's got to be drove, he'll drove it. And if it's long hours, he'll run it. So he focuses on that a lot. And the youngest boy, we do some crane work now. We incorporated a crane that I bought that I'm incorporating him to help the towing side also. And I'm trying to teach my youngest boy that. I want him to have something that he's got that ain't everybody does. If you look where people do things, a lot of them play follow the leader, and there ain't many crane services in this area. So I figured I'd try that with him and let him try to grow it. Plus it helps the towing company grow.
Does Haley Deegan come up anymore in practice?
She hadn't. So my youngest boy raced with her last night at Millbridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my youngest boy runs late models and sprint cars. So I let him run multiple things because it teaches them different driving styles, different habits, and that's where you see Larson bouncing around so much. You need to learn.
What were they driving at Mill Creek?
At Millbridge, so the youngest boy runs a sprint car, a micro sprint.
Okay.
So he run down there last night. He runs every Wednesday night at Millbridge. So we race. Racing's in our family pretty thick.
So what was she racing?
She was running a micro sprint, her and her boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That is it, to her. It's like what, going out to the go-kart track. I mean, these cars are what scale size?
They're probably 4 foot wide, 6 foot long. I mean, Kyle Busch was racing last time.
Really? Like his son races there a lot. Right?
His son runs a restricted micro sprint, and Kyle runs a micro sprint, a 600 micro sprint. Like Haley Deegan runs a micro sprint.
Now, what did they do last night?
Where'd they finish? Bush actually won. That was his first win down there. Okay. So he's been racing since December down there, and it was his first win. If that tells you how the competition is.
So the Beamer guys over in Yakima. Beamer Cody, they race. One of their sons races there.
Okay.
He runs with Kyle Busch's son, I think.
Okay, so that's a restricted micro, is what that is. So, like I said, we're trying to. My youngest boy's like me. He's kind of ADD. He's real hyper, and if I don't keep him busy, he'll probably be around their own people. So we go race. We go race pretty regularly. If we ain't racing, we're practicing. So we practice one night a week. We race one night a week, if not 3 nights. Definitely. That's funny. My wife, she's always asked me, she says, well, what does it cost us? I said, don't look and we won't know. That's easy way. This was a dream of mine. I said I wanted a nice race shop. Hawks Concrete, he come in and done my floors as a sponsorship. 5-Star helped us with the building. Had a really good deal, to get the building. Todd Gurr Electric, he done a phenomenal job in the electric. All the lights are motion sensors, they're high bays, they're pretty cool. Jason Tate with Steve Tate and Son Plumbing, he donated some machine shop stuff. So we had a lot of people did step in and help us, but this was just a dream of mine. I've always said one day I'm going to have a premier race shop. I want,
This
and it's just something I want.
I mean, there's not NASCAR shops. This is as nice as a NASCAR shop.
I always say, if you set a goal, achieve it. Work to achieve it. If I had something to tell people, if you go to school, you need to get a high school education. You need to learn it. But I ain't gonna tell everybody to go to college. Go find a blue collar job and show a man that you're willing to work. Don't tell him what time I got there. Don't tell him what time I'm leaving. You show up and do the job and you work till you get it done, and more than likely you're gonna be very successful on it.
Exactly. Hard work has always resulted in a better life.
It's hard to dedicate, but it's good results.
It is, and then work ethic is you have to have a good work ethic to be able to make it. But you definitely have got one, because you have amounted to a lot. If you watch YouTube and these YouTube guys that race they're racing nonstop, and that is their life, and that's all they do is race. And it is one of these sports that you got to put the effort in to be successful in it.
I tell the boys, every lap you got to hustle, and that's one thing I like about racing. You can't go out there and practice good and be fast and go qualify like crap. You got to go out there and practice good. You got to go out there and qualify good, and you got to go out there and race good.
So how many laps do you guys run?
Usually, like this past weekend, I run 50 laps.
50 laps.
Yeah, that's what you average. So if you're not willing to hustle every single lap,
it's tough.
You ain't gonna get it.
It's fast and it's over with quick, but in the middle of it, it's like, are we done yet?
It is endurance. It is a mind thing, and it teaches you, it teaches you work ethic. A lot of people don't realize that, but this is a work ethic. But go do it and enjoy it with the family. As long as she supports you, I hope you go with it. And if you don't, you need to. I recommend it. And the reason I do is at some point my wife says, "Okay, we're going to the lake this weekend." Yes, ma'am. If that's what you want to do, I'm on board. I try to support the things that she enjoys in life, and at the same time, this keeps me young.
Bobby, well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let us come by. I love your shop, and I wish you luck. And thank you for taking over the old friendship, making it something better.
We're trying.
So
we're trying.
We look forward to it. Guys, thank y'all again for coming to and watching Damn It Boy Media. And please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Thank you. Hard work and love of family are the foundation of Bobby Koehler's success. Mr. Koehler references both of these traits during our time talking with him. He stressed his determination to succeed as he's built businesses from the ground up. His sons changed his life from a rambunctious teenager to a hard-working father motivated to leave a legacy for his children. And he has indeed built a legacy. When you can, and as often as you can, please support your local short track and help this great dirt track to survive. And I'd like to personally thank Mr. Koehler for taking on this venture and bringing short track racing back to Surry County. Thank you, and please subscribe and like to Damn It Boy Media. Thank you.